So the iPhone SE Generation 2 has just been announced. My boy John Prosser got it right many weeks ago. Congratulations to John for that heck of a leak. He knew it way far in advance. And now that we have it out in the open, and of course Apple has now shown us everything about it, it's both really impressive and not really impressive. There's a lot of things about this phone that are pretty much the same phone as a couple of years ago. Now, that's both a good thing and maybe a bad thing. And depending on how you look at this is either super exciting or super boring. Now, for those of you in the comment section that are ready to type in all the hate about this phone, let me go ahead and let me do it for you. It's only got a 720p screen. It's only got an LCD screen. It's only got one camera. It's only on iOS. You can't multitask on it. There's no headphone jack. Who buys a phone like this in 2020? Okay, I hope that's most of everything that the haters are going to say in the comments. Let's just get past that. Yeah, there's some shortcomings, and we'll talk about them. But why do we got to be so ridiculous about this? Let's just talk about the iPhone SE in 2020. Is this the phone that you should buy, or who is it for? I want to tell you some things about it you may or may not know about this thing before you buy it, in case you are going to buy it. And let's see if it's a good match for you. I'll tell you all about it right after this.
This is, you know you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back. And for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis and I do tech videos every single week and have a blast doing them. If that sounds like fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anything I talk about will be in the description below. But for now, let's just get into the video. Now, we're in a really weird time, and Apple has released perhaps the perfect phone for this very weird time. OnePlus just came out with their OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro, which, by the way, I will probably be purchasing. But unfortunately, they didn't know that we were going to be in the middle of a bunch of things where people are staying home and not working. So they came out with a pretty expensive phone. Apple, on the other hand, got kind of lucky and always have been going back to a more budget-minded phone. Every year they've been doing this since the XR that came out a couple years ago. Then the 11 came out even cheaper. I don't know how they did that. And now the SE with the same processor as the latest flagships from Apple. And they're coming for some necks at $400. Ladies and gentlemen, it is game on. Samsung's closest competitor to this is like the A series, which is nowhere near the same thing as an SE. Like, the processor isn't close to being the same. The camera quality isn't close to being the same. Sure, it's got a better screen, but that's pretty much it. So yes, Apple got a little bit lucky as far as releasing a less expensive phone during a time where most people don't have money. And Samsung started releasing really expensive phones to the nth degree. $1,400 seems to be something they think that they can charge for phones nowadays, in the worst possible time. Hopefully the Note will think twice about that. I actually made a video about that. Make sure you watch that video. I think they need to cancel that phone. And yes, Apple should cancel the iPhone 12 as well. There'll be a link in the description or something about that video I did too. Watch that video. The iPhone SE2 is kind of interesting because I have some friends that actually like a smaller phone. A good friend of mine actually has been telling me that he would love to have a more compact, kind of smaller phone in his hand. And this with a 4.7-inch screen would be right up his alley, and he likes the button. Now, I don't know about you. I like bigger screens so I can see more, but some people like to see less. And that's fine. Listen, I'm not hating on anyone for this. I personally just would never want to walk around with a 4.7-inch screen. I've had a screen 5.5 inches or larger for so long that I can't go back to that. Having said that, I still may grab this thing and review it. But who is this phone for? We already know who it's not for. Despite the fact that it has a cutting-edge processor, the A13, it is not for people who want cutting-edge support. That's actually what makes this kind of interesting. How much cheaper could they have made it if they went with the A12? I mean, like, the people who are going to buy this phone aren't going to see the difference between the two. And listen, I'm not hating on them for using the best processor. I think it's absolutely amazing. But I don't know if it's absolutely necessary. As a matter of fact, this phone is basically an iPhone 8. Like, it's almost exactly an iPhone 8. If you don't believe me, let's look at the specs. As you can see, there are almost no differences between these two. The actual camera sensor is the same size, the screen's the same size, the IP rating is the same, like everything's the same. There's only a couple of differences. One, of course, is that A13 processor, which is a big difference, but everything else is the same, except for some of the camera tricks like portrait mode, which are only going to be available, at least on the front camera, on the SE Generation 2. Although you can get portrait modes on the rear camera of the iPhone 8 Plus. Now, this is all important because this phone is very definitely for people who A, would like to try an iPhone but don't want to spend a lot of money, or B, don't have a lot of money, have their iPhone broken, and they want to replace it with something newer. Or maybe your grandmother or a kid, or I don't know, someone who just wants to be in iOS or needs to be in iOS. Maybe iMessage is a thing, or maybe you need to FaceTime whoever this person is. It's an inexpensive way to get into iOS. And as a matter of fact, if you go on the Apple website, they even have trade-in deals, which is pretty crazy. A trade-in for a $400 phone makes it stupid cheap. But with all that being said, with all the technology that's built into this thing, and again, it's basically an iPhone 8 with an A13. Let's not get too excited about this. It's basically a phone that's already existed with an A13. It does fill a need. Apple has not had a really inexpensive phone in quite a while, and while generally speaking the industry has gone up in price, especially for their flagships, there just hasn't been a flagship level processor in a phone at this price level. Now, whether or not you think everything else about the phone is subpar, which I would argue it is not, it's still an amazing feat. Like, you can talk about the Galaxy S10 Lite or the Note 10 Lite, but those things are not the same thing. Look at the processors on those things and look at them in general. They're just mid-range phones. They're not like highly spec'd phones at a mid-range price. Again, does it have all of the camera features? No, but it's $400. Does it have an OLED screen? No, but it's $400. Does it have a headphone jack? No, but it's $400. You know, I don't know how else to say this. They took a high-end phone, shrunk it down, put a better processor in, kept most of the rest from the iPhone 8, and brought it to you for $400, which means there will be times when you can find a sale on it for somewhere in the $300 range new. That is spectacular. And that's something that you've not been able to really do anytime recently with an iPhone. An iPhone for just over $300, like by the time Black Friday or something like that comes around, there's gonna be so many deals that it's gonna be spectacularly crazy. You will easily be able to get one of these for your nearest loved one, of course, if we get out of this whole craziness that we're all going through. But there's one big thing about this that, I don't know, if you're really a budget shopper and you've been on my channel recently, you might know what I'm going to say next. And that is this. While looking at brand new phones and pricing of brand new phones, this is a well-priced alternative. However, on this channel, I've been doing something recently with a bunch of different phones that I'm super excited to tell people who've never seen my channel before. I've been going on Amazon and buying Amazon renewed phones. I bought the iPhone 7, the iPhone 8 Plus, a Galaxy Note S10 Plus, and some other phones that you'll see on the channel here real soon. And guess what? There are some really good deals for less than $400. Now you might go, well, but they're not new. And while this is true, they are darn near new. And check this out. For that same $400, you could buy an iPhone 8, basically what this phone is, and save yourself over $100. Or you can do what I did in one of my previous videos, get an iPhone 8 Plus with that extra camera, the really nice size, like everything that's really great about it, for $400. Or you can get this, get an iPhone 10 for $400. And at that point, like, you're getting a better phone. Obviously the camera's gonna be better. Now, will the processors be better? No, because the A13 is better, but when you put such a hyped up processor in a phone that doesn't like have anything else to take advantage of it, what's the point? Again, not hating that they put a great processor in a kind of budget phone. I think it's great. I think it moves the industry forward. But quite frankly, like an A13 processor which can edit 4K video, I mean, are you gonna edit 4K video on your iPhone SE? And by the way, you can't even do full 4K video even on the front camera. Like, again, it's a budget level camera. This thing is not a high-end flagship phone. It's not meant to be. It's priced accordingly. It's a darn good phone. But let's be clear, it's budget. And if you put it up against some of the phones you can get on Amazon Renewed, make sure you watch some of those videos. I'll put an end card in the description below. You'll be surprised at what you can get on Amazon Renewed. It can't compete. So I think while this is a great phone, it may be a little bit too little, too late. This coming out last year, killer deal. Listen, what I think Apple did here is great. And it's actually kind of fortunate that they're letting out a very low priced phone at a time when a lot of people don't have a lot of money. I've talked about this in a previous video. So it's timely. And it's also gonna find out, we're all gonna find out if you can sell a phone at all in this economic kind of situation we're in. If anyone can do it, Apple can. So let's find out. This phone is properly spec'd. It'll be fine for the people that it's meant for. It is not meant for people looking for flagships. It's not meant for most of the people in my comment section. It's not meant for most of the people on YouTube, even looking at reviews of the phone. The people that are gonna buy this are the people who don't care about YouTube reviews of smartphones. Let's just be honest. But let me know in the comments below if you want me to go ahead and buy this and review it for the channel. I've been considering it. I'm not real sure. But again, back to that other point, you can get an iPhone 8 Plus from Amazon Renewed for that same price. Watch the video. Peace and love. See you next time.